Hey, how you doing today? People have been asking me for demonstration videos on the way that I paint. So I thought that I would try to do a series of short videos explaining a little bit of what I know. Um, Today I thought I would talk about acrylic grounds. An acrylic ground is a medium that's applied to a canvas prior to applying paint to create some sort of a texture underneath the paint. So I'm going to show you a few of those that I have on hand and show you what they look like on canvas and see where we go from there. So I use primarily golden paints and mediums. It's really just personal preference, but that's the ones I use. This one here is fiber paste. You can see what it looks like in the container. It has a consistency like just a paste, and when it dries white and creates a texture a lot like handmade paper. And it's very absorbent, so it accepts paint also like paper. You can see that texture on there. And it can create some nice effects. And you could put it on more smoothly or roughly, depending on what you're trying to achieve. This painting here has the fiber paste underneath for the texture, and this bottom section here I used green gold paint, which is very translucent, and it's, as you can see, it's kind of absorbed very similar to the way paper or watercolor paper would absorb. And then I kind of scumbled across the top up in this section. This painting here is also done with the fiber paste. The paint was applied a little more, actually the texture was applied a little more heavily, and the paint was too. And you can see that I scumbled over the top of the underpainting, so you can see both the color and the texture coming through from underneath. Two I have here are modeling paste or molding paste. They can be called either, depending on the company you're working with. This is Liquitex modeling paste. It's very thick and heavy. It's a little bit dried out because I haven't used it in a while, to be honest. And you can create very thick textures on your canvas, and it dries white. It's not very absorbent, but you can paint over it, and you can model it with your fingers even and create whatever it is you want to create. And you can even use it to apply things to a canvas to hold them in place. And this one here is light molding paste. Light molding paste. It has kind of a foamy consistency to it. It is very light, a lot of air in it, and it also can hold texture, brush strokes really well. You can't quite make it as thick or make it stand up to the degree that the modeling paste does. But the molding paste, the light molding paste, is very absorbent. It also dries white, but it's very absorbent and can also behave like paper or watercolor paper does. This was done with the light molding paste, and you can see the brush strokes here in the background, and it held those brush strokes, which I can then scumble over. Similarly, this painting, you can see the brush strokes in this area and in this area, and you can also see that this area back here has a more watercolor type effect, because I just put translucent dioxazine purple directly onto that and just let it soak in and dry like that. And the other thing to take into consideration is that the modeling paste, it is heavy, and if you had a very large canvas, your canvas, by the time you're done applying all this, could weigh a ton, as opposed to this, which is extremely light. And you could apply this to a large canvas and not really notice any difference in the weight at all. The first three grounds that I showed you, the fiber paste, the light molding paste, and the modeling paste, those three can be applied to pretty much any canvas, to go under pretty much any kind of paint. They can be applied with a brush, they can be applied with a palette knife. You can water them down a little bit and they'll go on more smoothly or thinly. It really depends on the effect that you want. These three here are more for special effects. I have glass bead gel, both by Golden and Liquitex, and clear granular gel. These all go on white, but they dry clear, and they have textures in them. I can't think of the word that I want. At any rate, the glass bead gels, as it says, have little tiny glass beads within them. It's going to be hard for you to see, but perhaps you can see little tiny glass beads within them. You can hear them on the canvas anyway. Liquitex I prefer primarily because the glass beads are larger and show up more. You might be able to see those. The light catches them, and depending on how you apply them to a painting, you can either paint over them. As you can see, there's a lot of glass beads in this painting, particularly down at the bottom here, and I've just painted over them and included them in the texture of the painting itself. Or this one, you can see up in the sky, I painted the glass bead gel on very lightly, thinly, and when the light hits it, they light up like stars almost. As I'm looking at the painting, I can't really see them. It just appears like a blue background in the sky, but when the light hits them, they really kind of glow, which is a neat effect. You can apply that really thinly to get that effect, or I've also applied them more heavily and then used a little bit of sandpaper or a paper towel to kind of wipe off the top of the paint after I've painting over them. This was with, I believe, fiber paste, and this one, I think I only used the glass bead gel itself. Now, the clear granular gel is very similar. It's almost gone, except that the occlusion, maybe that's the word I'm looking for, are much larger. They're large chunks. They're not regular shapes either, so they can create an interesting texture in the background as well. So that's all I have for today. Those are all the grounds I have and the only painting examples I have on hand right now. If you have any questions, just post them below and I'll see what I can do to help you out. I hope that was helpful for you. Thanks. Bye.